The Museums Association commissioned BritainThinks to conduct a series of workshops to involve the public in an informed discussion about what the fundamental purpose of museums is. The most significant finding was just the extraordinary level of public trust that is placed in museums as being somewhere that will actually make the arguments, display the information in a neutral and objective way, and that's something that's extraordinarily valued by the public. So through the course of the project, what we were able to do is to identify some essential purposes that if museums don't fulfil those purposes, they're not actually museums. And those included holding and mounting displays, preserving collections, and fundamentally education and information for children first and foremost, but also for adults.
I sat in one of the BritainThinks public consultation sessions over their public attitudes survey at Stowmarket. And they invited me to talk to the group, who are a mixture of users and non-users, about the work of the Museum of East Anglian Life. The headlines from the BritainThinks survey is about the public having a clear idea that museums are there to care for cultural heritage and as places for education. I think that's true, and that was reflected in the group that I sat in. But I also sensed that there was also a real interest in the kind of socially engaged work that we do. So when I described our work, people were genuinely interested and wanted to find out more about it. I think the museum profession has been very good at talking to itself and each other about the impacts that we have on society, and we know that museums can change people's lives. But I think we just need to improve the way that we talk about this in the public realm.
It's interesting that the 90 participants in the 6-day-long workshops for this research have actually fundamentally rejected two of the purposes that have been heavily discussed in the museum sector, and that is the purpose of promoting social justice and human rights, and also providing a place for public debate. Even the purpose of providing a sense of community was only half-heartedly embraced by the public. Now, helping the vulnerable was another purpose that was very much cherished by museums professionals, but it ranked very low in the public's estimation. So the real question is actually, how can it be that we so grossly differ from what the public think are the future purposes of museums?
I think the research is really refreshing. Actually, it shows that the public and our visitors actually think that museums and the voice of museums is trusted and to be trusted. And I think we mustn't be complacent as museum professionals, or those who work in or for museums. It's really, really important that we continue to strive to maintain that trust, to inspire people, and to really, really make sure that our museums are for everybody. And that isn't, a foregone conclusion. We have work to do on that agenda.
Some of the results of the research coincide with what we've found from other research in the past. Other findings conflict with that, and in a sense that's good because it gives us the challenge of debate and rethinking as well. But the Museum Association has always been a champion of going beyond the traditional boundaries of museums and moving forward into a future with courage, radicalism, controversy sometimes, and a little bit of risk. But all of that is necessary in a healthy process. What we really will need at the end of all this is a vision that we can all stand beside as a sector, and a vision that will inspire individual members of staff in museums, as well as our stakeholders, governments and funders, to believe in the future of museums. And again, that's something which research can prod us towards, but ultimately it's up to us to produce the vision.